My name is Ann Sermons Gillis, and I am having a wonderful time meeting the members and the friends of Unity of Charleston. And today we have another wonderful lady. I'd like to welcome Kim Prisbowowski. And I'm sorry if I got the name wrong.
No,
How'd I do
you did
your name?
well. You did
Okay,
well.
that's great. Well, welcome to our conversation today. And what I want to do is find out, where are you from originally?
Well, I am from Charleston. I actually grew up a couple miles away from church.
And I don't think I've interviewed anyone that's from
Oh,
Charleston.
right? I'm like
Yeah,
one of three people.
one of the few people. Everybody else. So, what do you think about all this influx of all these other people? Is that a good thing, or is it not a good thing, or what do you think?
I think on the balance, I think we reached a tipping point about 5 years ago.
Oops.
20 years, 30 years ago, it was a wonderful thing because Charleston was so conservative and the diversity was wonderful. Now it feels like we're losing the flavor, like, just meeting people that are local. It's really hard to do that. So I think it's good and bad. It's got qualities of both.
Yeah, because you know, being a native Charlestonian, it gives you a different viewpoint and
Yeah.
perspective than most other people. So, in what part of Charleston do you live in now?
Now I live on Johns Island.
Johns Island. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And are you married or single?
I am. I'm married. I've been married for 41 years.
41 years. Well, how did you manage
Yeah.
that?
And I worked with my husband for all of that. We've worked together.
You mean
Yeah.
in a business, or
Yeah.
you yeah.
Yeah. In business.
So you must get along together well, or
Sometimes
you know how to negotiate well.
we have figured out how to have individual time and then time together. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. Well, do y'all have any children?
We do. Well, we have one child who's 42. Yeah.
Yeah, a girl, a boy.
Boy.
Yeah, and does he live here?
No, he's got a home in New York and Sarasota.
Okay,
Yeah, he lives in
great.
both places.
Well, I know
Yeah.
you got a career because you we had to keep rearranging our schedule because of your career. So tell us, what is that career that kept you away from this wonderful filming?
Well, I mean, yeah, we had some drama around some commercial property that we rent, which was property that we had retail stores in originally when we were working. So that was the drama around that. But
You
my
took, I'm
husband,
sorry, what did you say? You took what in?
when my husband and I were in business together, we had some property that we had a store in and a warehouse in for 20 years.
Okay.
And that's the property that we rent now that we had the drama with new tenants. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that over
So,
with?
yeah, it's over with
Oh,
now.
yay.
So what we did was traveled all over the world to find wonderful, unique products, furniture, home accessories. I produced a line of clothing, and we ended up, it took us about 8, 9 years to settle on the countries that we wanted to establish production in. And we did that for 39 years, sorry, 39 years.
Mhm.
And now I'm retired, kind of.
You're kind of
Still got
retired.
to live.
Yeah, that I understand that. Yeah, it's like I'm 74, I'm retired too, and I'm going to get back to work after we finish
Right,
this.
right, exactly.
All right. Well, now, how did you start your spiritual search?
Well, two actual reasons. One was as trying to discover what the trauma of my childhood was about, really trying to understand that, was my initial beginnings in my 20s. And then as I evolved into my 30s and 40s, it's such a lovely experience working in Thailand for 5 years and really got to experience what that culture feels like the Buddhist culture. Then we spent 25 years in Bali, and that was a Hindu culture. And so after having spent this time in cultures where there was such a sense of community, there was no division between living life and doing your job and celebrating and blessing everything that contributed to that life. In Bali, they gave up offerings every day. And so I would come back and I would want to continue to experience that when I got home. And so that really deepened my search. And that's how I got to Unity. I came home and I, just started to search, where can I find the community of like-minded people? And it was Unity.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So you were in cultures that really wove and threaded spirituality through everyday life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is really, how can we separate it? But we do live in a culture that compartmentalizes.
Absolutely separated. And my experience before working in these beautiful countries, I grew up Baptist, and it was, as you know, a uniquely different experience and was rather traumatizing. So, yeah, I mean, it was absolutely the universe giving me exactly what I needed, because I was already on a spiritual search for looking for a deepening. And then this is how beautiful the universe is. When I got home, I had a back surgery that created horrible chronic pain, and I was unable to travel for 9 years. So in search of a way to deal with my chronic pain, I found a community in Charleston that celebrated the Daime tradition. So I did medicine work in a spiritual ceremony in the tradition of the Brazilian church. I did a ceremony every 2 weeks for 10 years. And it was almost the exact threading of the experience I had in Thailand and in Bali, except it was the Brazilian culture. And so doing that every 2 weeks, I mean, it changed me on a cellular level. And I had done that maybe 7 or 8 years when I found Unity. And I've been at Unity maybe 10 years. I've been at Unity now.
Well, how did you find Unity? On the internet?
I cannot remember how honestly, Ann, I don't remember.
Okay. Well.
Oh, I know how I found it. I took my husband, I took our dog to an animal blessing at Unity. And she got attacked by 2 dogs. Oh, that was true. And my husband got attacked. It was traumatizing. And so I didn't go back to Unity for 2 years. But then I kept feeling, wasn't that awful? I kept feeling this draw, okay, you need to let that go and forgive that, and because your people are there. And so finally, after 2 years, I went back. And I was so happy I did. And I got over that.
In spite of the fact that your animals might be murdered there, you decided to look over that. Well, that's probably the most dramatic story I've ever heard about finding Unity. Your dog's attacked, you're attacked. Goodness, that is pretty wild. Well, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, I have found in my life that what I need shows up. And I don't know what about that specific experience I needed, but it really tested me. It tested my faith. It tested I wanted connection with community so desperately. I just really did. I really wanted that to be a regular part of my life.
Yes. So, well, I have a saying, my favorite affirmation is that I have what I need when I need it. And so if I'm worrying about the future, it's like, no, right now I have what I need when I need it. I don't have to try to figure way out there. So that's in line with what you found out.
And I loved it. And many times it doesn't look that way.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
That's why they say hindsight is 2020, because when you look back, you go, oh, that's really great. But during the middle of it, it's like, what the heck is wrong? Get me out of this. Okay, so moving to your philosophy, I'm just wondering if in a few sentences you could give me
Yeah.
your philosophy.
Two basic philosophies I live my life by. One is do unto this is maybe this is the Baptist. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely a philosophy. And the other one is laughter is the best medicine. I mean, there's no way I would have gotten through the trials and tribulations of life without being able to laugh at myself, laugh at the absurdity of the situation. You know, I just think laughter has gotten me through. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? People say, what is it? No pain, no gain. There's also no pleasure, no treasure.
Oh, I like that.
So we do have pain, and that is true. But if we don't
Yeah.
bring something else, you know, the other polarity of, you know, pain and joy and humor,
Right.
we turn out to be pretty sour individuals, I think, or hopeless.
Well, I think that is again why it was so important for me to find my community, because it's easy, I think, to go down that dark path, particularly when you have chronic pain. It is, you get isolated and you just start to go down a deep hole. And it was so important for me to work my way out of that deep hole and to find something where I had to learn how to speak Portuguese, sing hymns at, you know, in an altered state. I mean, that really took me out of my comfort zone and out of my thinking, you know, that sort of tunnel vision thinking of this is awful. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes, I usually go for the dramatic.
Obrigada, right? I think that's the only Portuguese word I was in Brazil. That's the only Portuguese word I know. That's one thing is that any country that I'm in, and I found this out late in life, and that is I should learn just a few phrases. People are very excited if you just say thank you, hello, and
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. And they go, oh, stupid American.
I know. Yeah. You know the old joke, right? What is it? If you meet somebody that only speaks one language, no, it's Americans or something. I can't remember the joke.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, if you speak one language, you're this. If you speak two languages, you're this. If you speak three languages, you're that. Um, However, we do have a different situation. That is because we have such a big expanse of land that we speak one language, and their states are the size of our country. So if we were surrounded by other countries, we would have done a little bit better, I think.
We had German exchange students that ended up, they're still in our lives. I mean, we're still very close as families. And I really got that when you live in a place like Europe and you in a small country, and like going to Spain is, you know, like us going to North Carolina, it's not that far.
Right.
So it really makes a difference when that is your geographical situation.
It does provide a diversity that we don't have as much of an opportunity to experience here. And I think that's one of the blessings of travel. And that is that when we can see through completely different perspectives.
Yes.
And then one thing I've learned, there have been times when I could travel and times when I couldn't. And that is that just to go to a different neighborhood. I lived in suburb Houston, but just go to downtown Houston was a different culture. And so if we expose ourselves to more different kinds of people, then we tend to be, I think, more open-minded.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Open-minded. So do you have any favorite books or authors or anything that maybe is real powerful for you, or just what you're reading now? Anything?
A book that really was powerful for me was Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts. I think because it sort of mirrored my experience of travel and spirituality. It's like 1,000 pages, but it is delicious. I wanted it to be 5,000 pages. That really impacted me. I'm reading one now by Simran. Simran.
I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
she's
I know
spoken at church before. The 7 blessings of experience, beautiful, mind expansive. It is just beautiful. I would absolutely recommend that. It's something you can read and reread. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
what you're talking about, the lady from Charleston, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
she's from Columbia, but she's
I
come to
mean,
church.
I mean, she lives here. Oh, she doesn't live here?
Oh, I thought she lived in Columbia.
She might.
I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Okay. Cool. So, do you have any passions or hobbies?
Um, yeah, I love singing in the choir. That makes me so happy. Um, I have started tutoring my neighbor who failed kindergarten. And in my 20s, I worked with children that had learning disabilities. And so I offered to tutor their child because how can you fail kindergarten and it not just really affect you for the rest of your school career? And that has been so delicious to watch her get it. She's getting it. She's learning to read and she's feeling confidence. And it's really been wonderful to sort of go back to my 20s and remember how to teach. And that's been great. I love to do needlework. Oh, and I love design. Anything that has to do with design, I love.
Design?
Yeah,
Like you mean
design.
interior design or
Yeah,
designing
yeah,
art?
yeah. I mean, yes, both. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any particular spiritual practices that you participate in?
You know, the practice, well, I meditate and pray and put my intention out into the universe every day. After
Put your
these
intention out.
years,
Do you put your intention out for the day or for is it a long-term intention like today is going to be a beautiful day, or is it?
it's today. You know what I used to do is in my store every day I would pray for whoever needed to speak to me to come into the store, and it was an incredible practice because almost every day someone would walk in and go, I don't know why I'm here, but I need to talk to you.
What kind of store
And
did
we
you
would
have?
have the most amazing conversations and connect. It was like that was my community for a while, you know.
What
So
kind
I've
of
just
store? What kind of store did you have that you attracted these people?
well, at that time I was selling the clothing that I was manufacturing and furniture, teak furniture, antiques, and home accessories,
Okay.
art. Yeah, I mean, it was a collection of things that I just really loved, and you couldn't find in Charleston, and you know, so it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I got to meet people who traveled and were interested in finding unique things for their home. So that's how I ended up. But so I do that now in my everyday life. But the biggest practice, spiritual practice, I would have to say is I've really tried to incorporate what I've learned living in the moment. And for me, it's really about love right now. I focus really loving my husband in a way that I haven't in the past, sort of a deepening connection, loving my friends, even loving strangers. I mean, I really try to take it into a very focused practice. And that really is, I would say, my biggest spiritual practice is trying to take the tools that I've acquired and use them.
That's
Instead
wonderful.
of it being just a concept, you know, have it really be a practice. Yeah.
Do you remember the old saying about a Sunday Christian? Yeah.
No.
Well, a Sunday Christian, somebody goes to church on Sunday and they
Right.
pray and they sing and everything, but the rest of the day, you know,
Right.
they're just
Right.
mean, all irritated people. You know, they don't take it into practice. We call it a Sunday Christian.
And
Uh,
that was my Baptist church.
yeah,
Not press.
yeah. Well, I just wonder if you have any final words of advice or anything you'd like to close with.
Yeah. Well, not advice. I would just say that, I invite anyone at Unity to please come up and say hi to me. You know, I would love to meet anybody new that I haven't met before. Just come and introduce yourself, and I will give you a big hug and send you love. You know, over the years at Unity, I've done a lot of different events and activities to promote community outreach. And I haven't done it so much in a while because I've been more focused on myself and home. But anytime at church, please come up and say hi to me. I would love to connect with each and every one of you.
I know, that's a wonderful thing. Thank you so much. I know a lot of people, I feel so alone. I feel so lonely. And it's like
Yeah.
if you sit in church and you never talk to anybody, it's probably going to continue to feel alone and lonely.
You know, the other thing I want to put out there, Pinda and I have sort of appointed ourselves as people to reach out to those in our community that are ill or isolated and want to visit. So if that happens to be you, please reach out to me. And we'll come and visit you and, you know, bring you some love and some laughter, just so you don't feel so alone. I think that's really important. And so use us. Yeah, use us.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you so much, Kim, today.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are very inspirational. I've enjoyed it so
Oh,
much.
glad.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this and for your patience in making this happen. I appreciate it.
Oh, all right.
Great
Goodbye.
community outreach. It's a beautiful way to do that.
Thank
Yeah. Thank you, Anne. Bye.
Bye-bye.